Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you are not new to me, thank you for always tuning in, the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my March wrap up. This is that time of the month where I get to go over everything I did read and be reminded of everything I didn't read, which was a lot. Yeah. My March TBR was a little on the eccentrically large side, and I didn't complete it. I mean, are you surprised? Because I'm fucking not. At all. But what I did complete, I had a really good fucking time with. So grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat. Let's get talking some books. All right. So as always, let's go over the stuff that I didn't read. Let's be reminded of it. And then we can move on. So everything I didn't read was actually everything I put on my free reading section of my TBR. I just find that really, really funny. When I was looking, I'm like, these are all the books I chose for my own free reading purposes. So these didn't meet any challenges or any read-alongs or any arcs or anything. These are just books that I chose to want to read and I never got to them. I just find this comical. But we have Scarlett St. Clair's Queen of Myth and Monsters. Jennifer Severini's The Women March. Sisters in Arms by Kaya Anderson. And Jennifer Saint's Ariadne. All these books you will see on future TBRs because I'm still excited about reading every single one of these. I still look at them and be like, yeah, I want to read that. So you will see these again later on down the road. Cool. Now, let's get into some stats. So my total completed books was 13 books this month. Now this 13 does include my secret reading vlog book, which I will not be discussing in this video because I will be discussing it in my secret reading vlog video. So you will see that, but the stats do include that book's numbers and everything. Of these 13 books, 11 were physical and 2 were audio. My total page count was 4,040 pages. Wow. I think that's the most so far in a month. I think. I'll have to double check. But total listening time was 16 hours and 41 minutes. And my average rating for this month was a 3.5. So not a horrible month by any shape or form. Not a bad month. Just I had a lot of 3 stars. As a matter of fact, I had 8 3-star books. And all these 8 books I will not be discussing in this video because I'm only discussing the books that are 4 stars and above in my wrap-ups because my videos are already hella long anyway. Now, if you want to find out about any of these books that I'm about to mention, you can check out my weekly wrap-up series, which will be linked up here in the corner, where I go into in-depth review of every single book that I read. I post this every single Sunday. It's a guaranteed video from me every single Sunday where I go over all the books I read the week prior. I go over their summaries, their trigger warnings, their tropes, what worked, what didn't work, spice ratings, and just general consensus of how I felt about the book. Or anything that I think you might want to know about. So if any of the books I'm about to mention sound interesting to you and you want to know more about, you are more than welcome to go check out that series. That weekly wrap-up series, again, it linked up there in the corner, and it'll be linked in the down box below. Now, for the books that I will not be talking about in this video, but I just want to give you my ratings, I have Resurrectionist by E.B. Hudspeth, which I gave 3 stars. Now, I did do a full book review on this book as well, because this was my February viewer recommendation book of the month. And I had a really good time with this one, so that review will be linked in the down box below for you. I also read Jacob by Jacqueline Frank, which I gave 3 stars. I read Savage in the Touch by Milana Jackson, 3 stars. Or Milana Jax, I'm sorry, 3 stars. I listened to Getting Played by Emma Chase, and this was 3 stars. I read Gideon by Jacqueline Frank, 3 stars. I read Shielding His Heart and Found. Shielding His Heart was by Nicole Blanchard, and Found was by Ellie Wade. Both of these books are read for the ABC's of Love Read-Along, which is my read-along that I host with Jen over the Book Refuge. And I will link that live show in the corner here for both of these books if you want to check them out. And both of these were 3 stars as well. And I also read Deadly Gossip by Brittany Nicole, which was 3 stars. And this was my March TBR book pick of the month by my subscribers to get a full book review. So there is a full book review out for it as well. It will be linked in the down box below. You can go check it out. Now, let's go into the books that I'm going to be talking about because these were all 4 and above. So the first book right out the gate is I Love You Always by Lauren Lacey, and this thing was 5 stars. I did a full book review on this. It will be linked up here in the corner and in the down box below. I found this book through Readsy Discovery, and I had a fucking ball with this book. I had such a good time. This book had me crying at like page 5. Dude, okay, I'm not kidding you. It was phenomenal. Now, we do have a lot of heavy hitting triggers in this book, so we're going to go over that. This is the first installment to the Love in Beverly Mills series, second chance romance with childhood sweethearts. We show graphic depictions of alcoholism, drug abuse, death of a parent on page, miscarriage, suicide, depression, and toxic relationships featuring gaslighting and hero complexes. We follow our two main characters of Parker Whalen and Jackson Sands, who have been childhood sweethearts since pretty much like the 8th grade, I think. And they have a very tumultuous relationship. When they are on, they are on. When they are off, they are off. And it's just back and forth. And we also follow their circle of friends with them throughout this. This story is not just a moment in time. It is a whole romance from start to pretty much finish. And it's told in this really unique format so as we're building the childhood romance, you're seeing this. We're also building the second chance romance at the parallel time, but every moment is parallel to each other. So giving you this juxtaposition of when it did work versus when it didn't work, or vice versa, or reasons why. What worked in this? The world building. This has one of the most unique worlds. This is an Ozzie and Harriet, perfect suburbia, everybody's Stepford wife, everybody's perfect kind of world. But on the inside, it is fractured, it is broken, it is dark, it is sad. This is like a mosaic in book form. When you look at a mosaic from far away, it looks like this stunning, beautiful picture. But when you get close, you start seeing all the cracks and crevices and how things are tied together and how things just are trying to force to almost try to fit together to make this image work. Really, really well done. Lauren Lacey did fucking dope with that. The formatting of the story, I've already mentioned this, how the way the story is told. This parallel timeline is fucking fantastic. The points she chooses to compare are brilliant. I thought they were awesome, and I had such a good time with it. I loved our flawed hero and heroine. I love that she was not afraid to show everything flawed about them. We have our heroine who's a huge hero complex, who just wants to take care of people and make people feel safe. And then we have our hero who really just wants to be taken care of, but at the same time needs to find out how to do shit on his own because of his demons. And he just doesn't believe he's good enough to be taken care of. And so you have these two polar forces that are literally detrimental to each other. But when they benefit each other, it is a great relationship. But when it's not, it is fucking toxic and it's bad. I love this. And the way they were described through their internal monologues, you saw the real heart of the story through their internal monologues, and I thought it was fucking fantastic. The circle of friends in this book was spot on. I had a great fucking time with the circle of friends. This circle of friends reminded me so much of my personal circle of friends that it was scary at times. It was a really good time, and all the circle of friends will be getting later installments in future later books in future installments of the series. So I'm really excited to figure out how all those stories work together. I'm really, really excited about that. One thing that Laura Lacey did really, really well with this book was her realness moments, her real grit moments. They were fantastic. This book, like I said, had me crying at page 1. This second chance romance paralleled some of my own personal stories really, really well. And it was scary seeing some of the things that I did on my side and how they actually affected someone else, because I did the exact same things, and just seeing what possibly that person could have gone through when I did it. It was really eye-opening and kind of intimidating at sometimes, but goddamn was it a fun fucking story. I had such a good time with this book. Oh my God, it was so good. I actually had to sit down and try to figure out something that did not work in this book. I had to fight for it, and I did find one thing, and it has to do with our character of Allie, who becomes pregnant by sexual assault, but she is not the victim. She is the assailant, and there was no legal ramifications for it whatsoever, and I didn't really quite agree with that. Just because it's not a female being assaulted doesn't mean that it should be overlooked and not talked about. So I'm now karmically, she got her just fucking desserts. Oh, fuck yes, she did. But I would have liked to see some legal ramifications for that. But from what I hear, there is going to be further developments in that in future installments. So who knows? We will find out. This book got 3 chili peppers because this thing was spicy and I was not expecting it to be spicy. Was not expecting that at all, but we had some very unique sex scenes with food that definitely gives new meaning to tastes like strawberries and cream. Oh God, that scene. That scene is an FTD bank scene. It's there, and I have not stopped thinking about that scene, and I think I unlocked a kink that I didn't realize I needed unlocked. I'm not even lying about it. That scene was, damn. I need a drink. Sorry. Just thinking about it. We also had some really unique instructional sex conversations in this book, which I thought was really fun because you don't normally see that in romance books. You usually see romance books. Sex with the first time is always perfect. It's mind-blowing. It's searing. It's scorching. It's hot. And this one's like, we need to have a discussion of what I actually like to be done to me because I don't feel it with you right now. But I could because I feel everything else. I really enjoyed that conversation because that's a conversation that people have in their real lives. That's one of those real grit moments that I appreciated from Lauren Lacey in this book, because sometimes you don't read books to escape. Sometimes you read them to relate, and this is definitely one of those relating books, for sure. I also loved how she made a point to say that hormones get us in trouble, but we can also be healed by those hormonal moments. Sometimes you need to do the fucking stupid things. You need to do the fucked up shit. You need to do the I'll regret this later, but I'm going to live now, because you need to have those moments to hold on to when things get bad. And I really enjoyed how she threw that in there, but then shown us how later on in the book, how those moments did help propel some of the healing of some of our characters. I had a really great time with this. I highly recommend this one. Again, there's a full book review on it, and it's in the down box below. So definitely a fun one. I had a great time with this one. Strawberries and cream, man. Strawberries and cream. Yeah. The next book I had a great time with was Flawless by Elsie Silver. I gave this book 4 stars. This is the first installment to the Chestnut Springs series. I read this for the Romance Takeover Readathon. And this was an audiobook by Sebastian York and Emma Wilder. This features a workplace romance with a hate-to-love component and very graphic sexual content, and it is super yummy too. Oh, yes it is. We follow Rhett, who is a bad boy bull rider who pretty much does whatever the fuck he wants. But he does whatever the fuck he wants because he wants attention. And he goes a little too far one time by punching somebody's lights out on national television. So his publicist basically says, you need a babysitter, and I'm going to put this girl in charge of you. Mind you, this girl happens to be his daughter, who's a stunner, and Rhett is extremely attracted to right off the bat. Summer attracted to Rhett right off the bat because she's had a childhood crush on him for years. But Rhett, instead of just acknowledging the attraction and moving the fuck on, he decides to try to keep her at arm's length, try to keep her away, so he acts like he basically hates her. So Summer walks into this working relationship of, this man hates me, he thinks I'm just a babysitter, which essentially is what I am, he's not gonna make my life easy. So she tries for the majority of the book to try to just not be hated more than she already is. But through this banter that they have, that Elsie Silver wrote into these characters, we start to form this really cool back and forth, biting, witty relationship that eventually turns into something super steamy, super hot, with props and chaps. Yep. Oh yeah, this thing was fucking dope. The audiobook was spot on. Sebastian York rocked it. I loved his gravel that he gave the character of Rhett. I thought he was fantastic. He was one of the main reasons why I was really excited about the audiobook. And I picked up the audiobook instead of physically reading it because he was narrating it. The chemistry between Rhett and Summer is on point. Silver can write fucking chemistry between her characters. Oh my God. And not only the chemistry between the characters, she can write the chemistry between other characters, like our side characters. That was really well done in this. She has a really good grasp of writing conversations and building true building blocks of romances in her books. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed her description of the action scenes. I have never seen bull riding in person. And after she described some of the bull riding scenes, I went on YouTube and I watched some bull riding because it sounded really hot and really cool. And it was. It was. I mean, there's only one way off a bull and it's being thrown off of it. But it was still spot on for what I saw. And I really enjoyed that a lot. I loved Rhett's character. I loved that he was a smartass. I loved that he was dominant. I loved that he was protective. I loved him so much. He was nice. Really, really enjoyed him. The only thing I thought didn't really work in this book was kind of the third act incident. I don't want to say breakup because it was not really a breakup. It was more of an incident. And I didn't think that Summer had the right to blow up on Rhett the way that she did. Rhett becomes this kind of overprotective self, stands up for her based off of the information that she has given him. However, she has not given him the entire story. So he's kind of going in with one hand tied behind his back to this kind of fight. And she blows up on him and says, you overstepped your bounds. He's like, I did what I thought was right to protect you. It's not my fault you didn't give me the whole fucking story. I could have argued a different way had you given me the whole story. So it was kind of a lack of communication thing. So I didn't really think she had the right to blow up on him as much as she did. That was pretty much my only thing that didn't really work in this book. Spice rating, I want to say I gave this 3 chili peppers. I didn't write it down, but I want to say it's 3. There was great teasing and build up to our sex scenes. Oh my God. Oh, the innuendos in this book. Oh, they were so good. There was one scene that I fucking loved. It was an auditory public oral sex scene. It was fucking epic. So he is performing on her and she is on the phone with a guy who has fucked her over. And the minute she's about to climax, you could hear it in her voice that she's like, I'm trying to still have a conversation here and I fucking can't. And the guy on the other phone is saying, you need to stay away from him. He's a bad boy. He doesn't give a shit about you. And she's like, you want to know who Red is? He's a guy who eats fucking pussy. And I'm like, what? And then she fucking comes on the phone. Oh my God, I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. That was great. That was one of my favorite scenes of this book. I had such a good time with that one. Yeah. Auditory public sexing. Auditory public oral sex scene for the win. I like Rhett. Rhett's my dude right there. Love him. Like him a lot. And I didn't realize chaps could be so fun because of this book. And now I want a set of chaps. Not even gonna lie. I live in the Midwest. I can rock them. Works. But this one's a good time. Now, I will admit that I picked up this book because Heartless, the sequel to the Chestnut Spring series, was actually my pick of my viewer recommendation book of the month for March. And I did read that book as well, and I gave it 5 stars. It looks like this. This is, again, the second installment to Chestnut Spring series. We have death of a parent on page, graphic sexual content with dominant style language, single dad, nanny, workplace romance, small town romance, and rancher. And we also have kind of a grumpy sunshine trope. There is a full book review because as being a viewer recommendation book, it does get a full book review and it'll be linked here. So I go into further in depth on all of these things, but Willa and Cade, yeah. So Willa, we meet in Flawless, and she is Summer's best friend. And Cade, we also meet in Flawless, and he is Rhett's eldest brother. And you get a really good idea of who Cade is in Flawless. So you do have to read Flawless to really appreciate the beauty of this book. You don't have to read it to understand the story of this book, but to understand Cade's growth and character arc, you'd need to read Flawless. Willa is a bartender, and the bar that she's working at is currently being reconstructed. So she's free for the summer. And Cade is a single dad with a young son who needs a babysitter for the summer. And he is having the hardest time picking babysitter because he has such stringent rules and regulations. And Summer is done trying to help him. So she's just like, let me kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And she gets Willa involved. Now she tells Cade that Willa has experience with handling rowdy boys. What Cade doesn't realize is that he's already met Willa, because in a coffee shop a few days prior when Willa comes into town, he runs into her where she drops her wallet, and when she goes to pick up her wallet, she realizes she's also dropped something else, and Cade happens to pick it up, and it's a pair of black underwear. And instead of being abashed and embarrassed, she's just like, well, finders keepers, and walks the fuck out. And I'm just like, what? What are you, really? Okay, cool. My kind of girl right there. I love that. And when the interview kind of happens, she's walking up. Cade has her underwear in his back pocket. He's like, no, I'm not fucking hiring you. I'm not hiring you. No, I have your underwear in my back pocket. Which starts this big, long running joke throughout the entire of the book with him, with Willa, with Summer, with all of his family. And it just never dies. And it's fucking fantastic. Events occur. Willa end up picked as the babysitter, and then she moves into the house to take care of Luke, the young son, and they immediately start forming a bond like the minute they meet each other. So this is where our story really kicked off, and it was a story. Oh my God, I fucking loved it. Chemistry, again, Cade and Willa's chemistry rivals Rhett and Summer's in the first book. Cade and Willa's chemistry was far better. It was stronger, and it was more in your face, and I fucking loved it. Their banter was back and forth, back and forth. Rhett was amazing as a character. Willa was amazing as a character. Both of their characters worked really, really well together. Cade, outside the bedroom, was very much about his son the whole time, very responsible, trying to always do the right thing. In the bedroom, Cade's a new favorite of mine. He's fucking fantastic, and I love him. I love him so much. So much. Oh my God. I love him so much. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, I need a minute, guys. I love him so much. Willa's character, Spitfire, owns her own sexuality, very, very loyal. She's a character after my own heart. I related with Willow so fucking much in this book. I have never had a heroine that I relate to as well as Willa, and that was something that was really, really important to me, and I was just like, this is fucking dope. Yes, I love this. Not only did their chemistry on point, but the chemistry with all the other characters was amazing, and the dirty talk in this book, ladies and gentlemen, oh my God. Oh my God. So fucking good. Now, I physically read this book, but I need to go find this on audio so I can actually hear some of this shit being said to me, because the voice I had in my head for Cade, let's just say I jumped my husband a lot while reading this book. And there were many times in this book where I had to put it down and say, did he really just say that? Yes, he did. Holy shit. And I was reading this on my back deck, so I was kind of like looking around and like, can people see me? I don't care if people can see me, because this is fucking dope. Like, it was awesome. Dirty talk, fucking on point. Oh my God. Just, so fucking good. I only found really one thing that didn't work, and it's really, to me, it's kind of a big thing, but it wasn't in the grand scheme of things. If it had been any different, we wouldn't have the story that we had. And that was just, Cade was so adamant about the babysitter and certain requirements that they had that he wasn't backing off. He was very, very strict on these qualifications, and Willa literally is the exact girl he didn't want, based off his own qualifications. And I just thought, was like, you folded a little too easily on that. And so I was like, are you thinking with the right head right now? I'm gonna go with no, but you gave me a really good fucking story in the process, so I'm gonna forgive you for it. Yeah, so that was a really good time with that one. The spice rating, this got 4 chili peppers. This is a 4 chili pepper one because dominant language, dirty talk, on point. You know I love this. Your girl loves the dirty talk, loves it. The sexual tension that was built in this book was delivered on. It wasn't just constantly keep building and building and building, because it got to the point where I'm like, if you don't fucking do something right now, I'm gonna put you down. But it was at that point that I got the delivery, and damn, was it good. That front porch scene, fuck me sideways. God damn, that was amazing. Oh, it was one of my favorite acts to perform, and it was public, and the internal monologue of Willa during this scene was just a woman after my own fucking heart. I loved her. Oh my God, I just had the best fucking time with this scene. It was so well done. It was so well delivered. It was right when I fucking needed it. Oh, it was great. It went right into the FTD bank scene. Like, no questions asked. It's there. It's there. It's a new fave. All right. New fave. Loved it. We also had a lot of really, really good sex scenes in this book. The birthday scene was a good one. There's tons in the hot tub. Oh, but that front porch scene and then the follow-up. Yeah. You're going to want to read that one when you're by yourself, or you have easy access to things that are rechargeable, because you're going to need it. Okay. It's a great one. It's a great one, guys. It's a great one. But yes, this has a full book review because it was a viewer recommendation book. So that review will be linked here and in the down box below. So go check it out. I go into further in depth of all of this stuff. And the last book I read that we're going to be discussing is Elijah by Jacqueline Frank. And I gave this 4 stars. This I am reading for the Nightwalker read-along, which is also why I read Jacob and Gideon. This is the 3rd installment in the Nightwalker series. And this shows murder, body scarification, and we have a true fated mate trope as we are dealing with a were animal. So this is a direct follow-up in the series. You do need to read the first 2 previous installments to understand this one, because this one definitely further instigates a huge series plot. There is romance in it, but I think the purpose of this book was to really infuse that series plot line, like 100%, like here it is, let's go, we're moving on. But this follows Elijah and Sienna. Elijah is the captain of the guard under the Demon King Noah, and Sienna is the queen of the Lycanthropes. The book opens with Elijah being wounded and Sienna finding him and trying to take him to a cave to heal him. And the magnetic pull between them is seen right off the fucking bat. There's no denying it, that there is a pull here. And if you've read the first 2 previous installments, you already know what's kind of coming down the pike. There's this fated mate. There's this imprinting component. There's this only you thing. But because she's a Lycanthrope queen, she has her own political requirements that she's not allowed to take a lover. And if she does take a lover, they are her mate forever. And she also wears this collar that historically only your soulmate, fated mate, could ever undo unless it was a member of the tribe, which was their kind of like their hierarchy. And he's able to undo the collar. So you have all of these components that are literally just big flashy red signs like, hey, you're going to end up together. We already fucking know. We already know that these 2 are together. There's a lot of predictability in the series. But this union causes a lot more can cause a lot more problems than what the other unions theoretically could, because Elijah is known as the Butcher. During the Lycanthrope War, the Lycanthrope and Demon War, he killed thousands of her people. And it wasn't until she took over that there was a peace actually formulated. So for her to take the Butcher and her culture as a husband, as a consort, as a lover, that's a huge fucking big deal. And she believes it's going to be a huge slap in the face to a lot of her people. Elijah, knowing that she's a queen and he is the captain of the guard, also faces this tumultuous kind of balance because of who Noah is, and Noah is the Demon King and who he works for. So this union has a lot more political intrigue than the other installments do. And this one had a lot that worked, but it also had a lot that didn't work. Their initial get-together, half this book, they're by themselves, which I really enjoyed because we got to know them together away from other people. And I really enjoyed that. And we got the further series plot development in this one, a lot of that in this one. And the compatibility of these 2, both of them are warriors in their own right. And I'm not talking about like she's just kind of a badass. I mean, like, this chick can take you in her own right. She doesn't fucking need him, and he knows it. And he acknowledges it. Now, however, there is an annoying factor that we have to be reminded that he allows her to do her thing. And I'm just like, well, you want a fucking cookie that you let your wife, be able to do what she was born to do? Get fucked. That was kind of annoying, but that is the time period of this book. This one, however, we also introduced some new worlds, which I'm excited about and experiencing. And now I've already started reading further on the series, so they are getting expounded upon. So that's really a huge asset to this as well. I loved Elijah's fighting style. He's the wind demon, so he's in control of like the wind and weather element, and his fighting style really utilizes that. It's very quick, it's very appearing, it comes out of nowhere, it's uncontrollable. I loved it. And this one doesn't end with a baby. I really enjoyed that one. Now, granted, there's nothing wrong with ending with a baby, but having a series, having at least 1 or 2 installments that don't end with children is kind of nice. I do enjoy that. What didn't work in this, the sex scenes are hot in this book. I mean, we get into sex really fast in this one. Gideon made me wait 75% of the book. This one, I was like 20% of the book, and we're already doing hot and heavy stuff. Except the first hot and heavy scene is a makeout session. 25 fucking pages of a kiss. What? Move the fuck on, okay? Seriously, I love a heavy makeout session. I do. Don't get me wrong. Hot and sweaty, the better. I love it. But fuck that. No. Move on. Give me more, okay? Give me more. I know you got it. Give me more. Again, there's more predictability in this installment. This whole series is fairly predictable of how it goes based off of the way that she's telling the story. I feel like that's just gonna be part of this series. And this story, however, there is a romance. There isn't any actual real plot. There's a lot of political intrigue, but if you take the series plot development portions out of this book, you don't have a lot left, except for 25-page makeout scenes, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but this romance kind of lacked a lot of plot. For as much as drama as this union could have caused, we didn't really get a lot of it, and that was kind of annoying. We suffered for the same thing with Gideon. It was more plot development. So like this book is not a bridge book. It's more like we're on the other end of the bridge and we're regaining our bearings and formulating a plan and moving forward. So that's kind of where I'm seeing it in the series. However, I did give this a 3 chili peppers. This has the most sex out of all the series so far. And it's right there. We're into it. Let's go. I loved Elijah being able to be a switch. He can go from dominant to sub in an instant. And I really like that because of it working with his wind element. You can't control the wind. You have no idea what to expect from them. It can be very soft and very delicate and very casual. And at the same time, it can be abrasive. It can destroy things. It can rip things from the ground, and it can make houses twirl in tornadoes and people go into Wizard of Oz. All right. So the wind is unpredictable. And I really like the fact that they gave him that element of a switch. He's not super dominant. He's not super submissive, but he can play both roles so well that you think it's his natural persona, but then he can switch on a dime and go what he needs to go to. And I thought that was really, really unique, and I like that about him. And he has this really cool wind stripping component. Gideon lacked his powers, could have made for some really intense sex scenes, and it was a missed opportunity. Frank did not miss the opportunity with the wind element. She incorporated his power into the sex scenes, like whipping her clothes off and shit, and I thought it was great. I thought that was awesome. And I was like, can I try that? That'd be cool. Let's give that a try. So there was not a lot of missed opportunities for his powers being incorporated into the sex department in this. So I enjoyed that, and that's what kind of bumped up the rating a little bit for me. But those are all the books that I read that were 4 or 5 stars this month. I had a really good reading month. However, I did not complete everything I'd set out to. I normally don't, but one of these months I will, guys. One of these months I will. Again, there was a lot of videos that had reviews. A lot of these books had reviews this month, so they were all going to be linked in the down box below, so go check them out. Love You Always has a review. Resurrectionist has a review. Heartless has a review. Deadly Gossip has a review. There will be the live show for my ABCs of Love books, which were Shielding His Heart and Found. I'll attach that live show, and I will also attach the live show for Jacob, Gideon, and Elijah for the Nightwalker read-along. So there's a lot of videos to go see down below. If you've not checked any of those out, go check them out. And also my March TBR will be linked in the down box below, so you can go compare and see how well I did if you like. But that's what I've got for you guys this go around, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all soon with another video.